Imagine a world where smallpox could wipe out entire communities, where one infected traveler could unknowingly carry a death sentence across oceans. That was reality just a few centuries ago. Now here's the question. How did humanity go from helpless victims of disease to warriors armed with microscopic shields? Hi, I'm Noah Lobby, and welcome to Timeless Knowledge Discoveries, the show where we unpack the stories behind the world's most transformative moments. Today, we're diving deep into the origin of vaccines and how science, curiosity, and a little bit of COWPOX forever changed the course of human health. Let's uncover how a single medical idea sparked a revolution and saved millions of lives. Before vaccines, disease was a constant threat, unpredictable, invisible, and unforgiving. Smallpox, measles, diphtheria, cholera, these weren't just names in a textbook. They were death sentences. Smallpox alone claimed an estimated 300 to 500 million lives throughout history. Survivors were often left disfigured, blind, or traumatized. It didn't matter if you were royalty or a farmer, disease spared no one. In ancient times, there was no real defense. People turned to rituals, herbal concoctions, and isolation. While some remedies helped slightly, most were rooted in guesswork. But even back then, human curiosity was alive. In China, as early as the 10th century, some healers had discovered an unusual method, inoculation. They would grind smallpox scabs into powder and blow it into someone's nose. Sounds gruesome, right? But believe it or not, this early form of exposure sometimes worked. It was a dangerous gamble, but it laid the foundation for something greater. The seeds of modern vaccination were already being sown, just waiting for the right mind to unlock their potential. Let's fast forward to 18th century England. Enter Edward Jenner, a country doctor with a keen eye and a questioning mind. In 1796, Jenner heard a curious rumor from local milkmaids. They claimed they didn't catch smallpox because they had once caught cowpox, a much milder disease that only caused minor symptoms. Most doctors would have dismissed this as folklore. But Jenner, he saw a pattern. And he had a radical idea. What if exposing someone to cowpox could protect them from smallpox? To test his theory, Jenner performed an experiment that would shape history. He took pus from the cowpox sore of a milkmaid named Sarah Nelms and injected it into an 8-year-old boy named James Phipps. Weeks later, Jenner exposed the boy to actual smallpox. It was an unthinkable risk, but the boy didn't get sick. He was immune. This moment was the birth of the vaccine, a word Jenner coined from vacca, Latin for cow. Jenner's courage, ethical questions aside, marked a turning point in medical science. He'd proven that controlled exposure could teach the body to defend itself, a concept that would echo across centuries. Jenner's discovery didn't stay local for long. By the early 1800s, governments and health organizations across Europe and the Americas began adopting and distributing the smallpox vaccine. In fact, one of the earliest mass vaccination campaigns took place aboard a ship, the Balmis Expedition in 1803. Sponsored by the Spanish Crown, this voyage carried the smallpox vaccine across the Atlantic, preserved in the arms of orphaned boys who were deliberately infected with cowpox to keep the vaccine alive during transit. It's a complicated legacy, mixing humanitarian ambition with ethical dilemmas. But this journey helped spread vaccines to the Americas, the Philippines, and beyond. Over time, more vaccines were developed. 1885, Louis Pasteur's rabies vaccine. 1923, diphtheria vaccine. 1955, the polio vaccine by Jonas Salk, a breakthrough that stopped a crippling epidemic. The 20th century became the golden age of vaccine development. Diseases that once terrorized nations were now being contained, controlled, even eradicated. And in 1980, the World Health Organization made a bold announcement. Smallpox was officially eradicated, the first disease ever wiped off the face of the earth. A victory for science. A triumph for humanity. So how do vaccines actually work? In simple terms, a vaccine introduces a harmless version of a virus, often a dead, weakened, or partial form, into your body. Your immune system sees it as a threat and learns to fight it off. Later, if the real virus enters, your body is ready, like a fire drill preparing you for the real emergency. This brilliant trick has not only saved lives, it's saved societies. Vaccines help achieve something called herd immunity. When enough people are protected, it slows or stops the spread of disease. This protects not just the vaccinated, but also the most vulnerable, babies, the elderly, and the immunocompromised. Even today, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the world witnessed the power of vaccine science, compressing what once took a decade into months through mRNA technology. But with great power comes great responsibility. Misinformation, fear, and inequity still challenge public trust. That's why understanding the history, the science, and the humanity behind vaccines is more important than ever. Vaccines are more than shots in the arm. They are a story of curiosity, courage, and collective action. From cowpox in a quiet English village to global eradication campaigns, the journey of vaccines is a story of hope written in the language of science. So the next time you roll up your sleeve for a jab, remember, you're part of a legacy, one that began with a bold idea and a boy named James. If today's story opened your eyes or sparked your curiosity, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell for more discoveries that connect our past to our future. I'm Noah Lobby, and this has been Timeless Knowledge Discoveries. Until next time, stay curious and stay kind.